Hey guys, welcome to the first week of phase 2 learning. So I'm kind of going back to some basics in a way, but I feel like that'll be good since we've had a break. Recently, one of you emailed me and asked, how do I get better at art? And I was like, well, that is such a good question and such a big question. And as simple as it is very profound. And so that got me thinking. And as I responded to her, I thought, this is a whole lesson. I should be saying this to everybody. So no, I am. I think there are 3 aspects of good art that are worth mentioning. One being technique, technical excellence, like how well you draw, composition, rendering, mark making, like those practical elements of doing art. The second thing is creativity. That is ideas, the cleverness in how you communicate your ideas, powerful expression. And then the third is purpose. What do you want to say with your art? What do you want your art to accomplish, or how can it impact the world? So the third one, we're not really going to deal with too much. It's good to be aware that that's a thing, but that will probably come later in your journey. Maybe you already have a purpose and that's awesome, but I can't tell you that. That is something you have to figure out for yourself. It has to be honest, and it has to be very personal for you to have an impact. But there is a myth that you can't teach creativity either. And I don't believe that in a way. I can encourage creativity, give creative prompts, help you approach things differently than you normally would. So I do think it's part of my job to facilitate that, even though I can't make you have creative ideas. I think it's a myth that some people are not creative. Everybody has creativity that may not show itself in the arts, but we're all problem solvers. You need to be creative in any area of life from here on out. So I hope that creativity is something you can foster and use all over the place. So the biggest thing I can teach you is technique. And if I was just giving someone advice who wasn't in my class, I would tell them, draw a lot, practice. There's no way to get better without practicing a lot. And it's a good idea to copy other artists' drawings. Make sure it's a good drawing before you decide to copy it. But, there's this feeling that copying is bad, and that is not what you want to do forever as an artist. But as a student, there is almost no better way to learn, because you are looking at this other artist's interpretation of what they are seeing and how they are transferring it from 3D to 2D if you're drawing on paper. You will learn how they interpreted it and kind of gain tools in your tool belt. Pablo Picasso has a quote that goes, "Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist." And that sort of encapsulates my philosophy of teaching almost, that I want to teach you technical skills. I want you to be well equipped to do any kind of art that you want, so that later you might choose to do more abstract or less realistic art, but then that will be your choice to pick the style that is really your preference, not a limitation because of your abilities. So we are going to jump into more technical things, but as a teacher, I do really want and try to balance projects that are more creatively focused and projects that are more technical. And I try to mix them as much as possible. So I'm going to teach you 3 types of drawing approaches, 2 of which I like, and 1 I don't. Those 3 are contour line drawing, block in drawing, and gesture drawing. All of these are just how you get started in a drawing, not necessarily the entire drawing.
Okay, we're going to get started with the first drawing. You need 2 or 3 different media. You need a regular pencil, like a mechanical pencil would be great, a eraser, I'm using a kneaded eraser. And then something softer like charcoal or pastel. There's a graphite stick, a charcoal stick, and a charcoal pencil there. I am going to be drawing with a charcoal pencil for the gesture drawing. Okay, we're going to get started first with a practice page of mark making. You're going to hold it with an overhand grip, take it with your non-dominant hand, and then grab it from the top. Then you draw with your whole arm, not your wrist. This will give you practice making confident movements. You want to vary the line weight, have heavier and lighter lines. You also want to practice several ellipses. Those are the squashy ovals you see. Those are really common in drawing, especially still lives. So it's good to practice getting those symmetrical. So fill up a whole sheet, and this will be part of what you turn in. Next, I'm going to do the contour line drawing, and this is the one I referred to that I don't really like as much for several reasons. One is the mark making. It tends to have wobbly, timid lines that don't look good. The second reason I don't love it is it starts slowly at one part of the drawing and then works its way around, and doing it that way, you can't plan for placing it on the page as intentionally. There's a good chance you're going to run off the side or the bottom of your paper because you didn't plan how big the whole thing was going to be before you started. So I do want you to practice this. It's just outlining, basically. So I want to see just a comparison. So we're going to practice this type of drawing to see the pros and cons. See, down at the bottom, I ran it off the edge, which is really a big compositional problem. Now, before I do the gesture drawing, I wanted to show you some gesture figures, since usually you see gesture drawing with human figures. You start with one line of action that describes the major movement of the object or figure. Some of them are loose, some are more developed. Sometimes it focuses just on one area, wherever the most dramatic like curves and angles are, but it's really energetic. This one's a little more developed also. You can see where I have my one line of action where I started, kind of reproduce it there. I want you to take some notes on gesture drawing. So pause this if you need to get a piece of paper out. You're going to have 6 items to take notes on. You can just summarize what I'm saying. Number 1, gesture drawing is all about energy. It needs to look energetic. Number 2, accuracy is not the focus. Number 3, you want to vary the line weight or pressure, so you have lighter and darker areas of your lines. Number 4, draw with your whole arm from the shoulder, not with your wrist. Number 5, you should have long fluid strokes, not short choppy ones. And number 6, you start with a line of action. So I have this gesture drawing that I'm finishing up, and I had done a different one earlier, but I like this one better actually because I think it captures the emotion and energy and essence of the image better, even though the other one is more developed and detailed because gesture drawing isn't about detail. I want you to take notes again for the block-in drawing. First, this is a tool that you can use called the accuracy feedback loop, and I want you to copy it. So the first step is just to look at what you're drawing. You should spend just as much time looking as you do actually drawing. And you learn about what you're looking at as you study it. So first you look, and then you guess, and that's your first line. And then you measure to see if your line is in the right place and the right angle, and then you correct it if it's not. You correct before you erase. It's easier to draw a new line that is correct if the old line is there still for reference. So draw the new line and then erase the old one. So after you've copied the accuracy feedback loop, there are 4 more items to take notes on. So first, your whole block-in drawing is with straight lines. So only straight lines, no curves. The reason for that is that it's easier to correct and move a straight line than it is a curved line. And it's easier to simplify with straight lines. Number 2, start with an envelope shape. That is an outer boundary around the corners of the object you're drawing. Number 3, you want simple, blocky shapes. And number 4, your goal here is really to be accurate. It's almost the opposite of a gesture drawing in that you are being highly precise and accurate. So you're looking to get correct proportions and angles. So number 4 should say accurate proportions and angles. So proportions is mainly how wide is something compared to how tall. And you can check that with your pencil. And then you can also hold your pencil up in the air if you're drawing something from real life, or hold it on top of the paper if you're drawing from a printed picture like I am. So use your pencil as a tool for measurement, not just as a drawing utensil. So I have all 3 finished drawings: the contour, the block-in, and the gesture. I suggest doing several practice gesture drawings. I find that I get better and better as I go doing multiples. Usually they're done quickly and you do several of them. I'd like you to put all 5 images into one Google document or Word doc before you submit it, so that I only have 1 file to open from each of you, not 5. So that would be a picture of the object you're drawing. So I want to see the real thing, the mark making page, and all 3 drawings. So have fun, good luck. Of course, you are more than welcome to do more drawing than this. Drawing from life is awesome practice, and the more you draw, the better you will get.